Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second day of the Premier League semi-finals here at the State Hockey Centre at Jeps Cross. Hello to everyone watching around the state, country and overseas. My name is Brodie Gleeson and along with me is my co-host for this evening, Holly Evans, and we'll be calling this semi-final between Forestville Panthers and the Northeast Zulus in the men's competition. So last time these two teams met, they met during the under-21s tournament, so both teams missing players, and they had a contested 2-2 draw with Northeast coming out the victors that game in round 16. At the end of the minor rounds, Forestville finished third with 12 wins, 4 draws and 4 losses, and Northeast finished fourth with 9 wins, 6 losses and 5 draws.
Should be a really good game. Both teams very strong. They've got some senior members in their teams that all can control the ball really well, and then they've got some feisty, fiery players in their short corner batteries that can slot a few. So hopefully it will be a high-scoring game and very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, so we've got Forestville in the predominantly white with navy strip going to the right of screen, and Northeast in the red, black and white going to the left of screen. Both teams very well structured, don't concede many goals. Both teams not necessarily known to score in great bunches, but do get on the score sheet quite regularly. So we have a really big thrown overhead early in the game. Unfortunately not able to find Scotty Machel up front there, but we do see that both teams have the arsenal back there with Connor Hutchins for Forestville, Will Telfer, as well as basically the entire defence there.
Yep. Nathan Jennings in Wishart, all very, very strong.
All can throw the overhead. So got young Crowhurst on the ball. Great connection there to find Hutchins. Good long ball into the circle. So as we see, good build-up play there by Forestville with a quick outlet, finding midfielders early. All they've got to do now is connect with their strikers. Northeast really good at holding the ball when they want to. They're electing to go overhead early, so that might be a tactic from Kim Strawbridge, is to attack those little pockets behind the press. So who are our players to watch for Northeast today?
Simon Wells and Aidan Stock, both young guns, create a lot up forward. Will Telfer through the middle, he's just a machine, has been a machine for years. Won best and fairest, represented the state on many occasions. And then you'd also look just to see your back group in Wishart as well with Ryan O'Shea. So, and I probably should mention my brother, Dylan, the goalie.
Sibling plug,
Yeah, got to get in there.
Looking at Forestville's players to watch. So we've obviously got Curtis Wilson, or the Moose, playing through the middle. Highest goal scorer for the year. I think he ended up with 24 goals in the minor rounds. So penalty corner threat up forward. We've also got Sam Carr, the goalkeeper. So we should have a good tight defence for both teams, with really exceptional goalkeepers that are able to keep the ball out. And then we've got Alec Hutchins, Jordan Flavel as well to watch for Forestville. So players to watch for both teams. Should be an exciting game. And there we see Northeast just really composed with their outlet, finding the short, sharp passes. Simon Wells on the ball, use his pace, but unfortunately just can't keep control of it there.
So you've played Forestville recently. What do you think of them? What do they do? What are they strong at?
Really good at protecting their own defensive circle, so they don't give away a lot of short corners, or they get 11 behind the ball, all low, really defend their feet quite well, so they restrict space, so it's quite hard to score against them. And on the counter-attack, they just are quick. Everyone explodes. When they look like they're going to win the ball, players push up quite quickly. So I think that's probably a trait for both teams, playing against them both 3 times this year. Both teams defend super well and then burst away on the counter-attack really quickly. Northeast probably have the edge with being able to outlet and compose with the ball. As we said, that the commentator's curse in Wishart just unfortunately rolls off the end of his stick. Let's see the counter-attack. We've got Steve Young on the ball. Just misses that first tomahawk. But see, when both teams play quickly, they do have young, quick players in the right spots. So Northeast with a bit of a fall-away press here. Again, just restricting Forestville's run and carry through the middle. Just trying to restrict Alec Hutchins, Jordan Flavel, Moose through the middle there.
You'd think North East would have the edge, being the fact they've been in finals for the last sort of
10 years, I think Dylan Evans' status was.
Yeah, so, but then, as we spoke about in the girls' game, that youth and experience may actually shine through. North East men being that little bit older, especially around the back.
I think it will play a factor in those crunch moments, that experience though, because being there for so long, North East just know what to do, know how to protect themselves, and you can just run the clock down. I think whereas Forestville might be a bit early, but be a bit nervous, have that pressure, whereas we can see right now, North East have no nerves, hitting passes, and not afraid to throw the ball around. So good composure there from Simon Wells. Happy to go back. Long ball through the guts. Well picked off by Forestville, and we've got numbers going forward. Find Curtis Wilson. Well channeled by Will Telfer there. So really good trap there by Tyson Schubert. Pops the ball into space, finds Zach Hutchins, and well cleared by Dylan Evans. So Forestville are the big improvers from last year this year. So they won 3 games last year, and this year finished with...
You think they'd be right up there for Coach of the Year?
Yeah, Jeff Mills, first year Premier League coach, would definitely be up there, considering they popped up from 3 wins all the way up to, I think they finished with 9 wins at the end. 12 wins, sorry. So they big improvers through the off-season. Great long ball. Unfortunately, just can't get his stick on that. But again, we see Aiden Stock, that young striker, getting in the right spots. So the winner of this match goes on to play Adelaide next week. So Adelaide went down to Seacliff 4-2 in yesterday's 6 o'clock game. So good pressure by the North East defenders, just forcing Forestville to go back. And they've picked the ball off, and they've got a good 3-on-3 here. Simon Wells using his pace, great dump ball. Finds Simon again, puts on the foot, play on's the call, and a long corner zone. So really well done by the 2 young guns that you pointed out earlier, Simon Wells and Aiden Stock, connecting early.
I think Simon's really improved, because he went for a while where he was getting really good pace, so he'd carry the ball a lot, whereas now I think he's found a middle ground, and he's just so explosive and dynamic, and they don't know what he's going to do. So I think he's definitely a player to watch for the future, both state-wise and playing for the country. Nationally
identified this year at the under-18, so him and Fred Gray both identified in the future squad, so really well done for SA numbers, having 2 players in the men in that future squad.
Lachlan Buzzico as well made the
national development squad.
Yeah, so what Hockey SA are doing at the moment with their development is certainly paying off, because we saw the girls in the Adelaide Seacliff game this morning. There was a fair few girls who had been identified as well, so things are looking up.
I think we've got to give a plug to High Performance there at Hugh Purvis, so really well done with the programs that he sets up. Again, North East just happy to sit back here and restrict Forestville's up front speed and pace. We have Nathan Jennings just in front there, but really good reverse pressure. The first opportunity, and it's come off a Seacliff foot. Oh, not Seacliff foot, sorry, Forestville's foot. Still in the mindset from the game earlier today.
So if you look at Forestville, very, very narrow, letting North East go wide, and I think North East are using every single little bit of the pitch they possibly can. Makes for some good hockey.
So North East also attacking in packs as well, so they've always got 2 players around the ball carrier. Makes it quite hard to get your eyes up when you've got 2 people harassing you.
Brother to brother.
Yeah.
O'Shea to O'Shea.
Brodie earning the free hit. So Forestville really aggressive with their press, trying to force one-on-one contests around the field. And that time it pays off with the ball just not being able to find the connection.
So Forestville slid that player up the line again, so it means that their Northeast strikers had to follow him.
But really well done with the midfield call there. So Brodie just popped out into a striker. So we can see that experience of Northeast where they just know what each other's going to do. And they're obviously really well structured. So the strikers, stayed with the halfback and Brodie just stepped up as that sweeper into dangerous space. So really well done to cut that off. And again, we have that narrow press with Forestville, allowing the transfer back and then really squeezing their numbers across, creating that one-on-one. So Curtis Wilson showing that overhead, finds his captain of the day, Jordan Flavel. Able to find Tyson Schubert and gets the ball back.
So Forestville don't have a set captain?
They've got co-captains, so they've got Curtis Wilson and Jordan Flavel as their co-captains.
Ah,
So I think they rotate every game.
fantastic.
Good vision by Ben Sutherland. Finally, Scotty Machel has got Brodie up front. Still got Brodie in the corner. Good numbers in the circle. Great pickup. Really well defended, but Northeast showing some excitement going forward at the moment. Showing good link-ups.
So Ben Sutherland's just come back from a broken arm, so he's missed a majority of the season and slowly made his way back through the lower grades. So
So it's his first game back, is it?
I think first or second, yeah. He'll be looking forward to getting back on the park.
Great tackle from Jason Brocklehurst. He's going to enter through the top of the circle, has a time to get shot off, but really well done, Simon Wells. Got his stick in there and just popped it on the foot. Showing a lot of courage with that one.
Yeah, this is the work rate you want to see from your attacking midfielders and strikers, getting in there, because that would have been a pretty good shot to have from the top of the circle.
Not something Dylan would have appreciated there, back there, having someone shooting from the top. Someone with Jason Brocklehurst's experience playing for 10 years in the competition. Good trap at that head height ball. And again, just happy to find the open space. Using the width of the field, but cutting back through the middle. Got Youngie on the ball here. Looks to fire a ball in. Well deflected over the back line. So Forestville will look to set up a long corner. They're really well structured, so they look to see some set plays here. Either one of those one-touch redirect balls into the circle, or even they'll be happy just to play on and pump it into the circle. And a pretty easy circle entry there. I think Simon Wells would love to have that one back again. Just caught ball watching and the ball just popped onto his foot. And this is a danger area for Northeast. So as I mentioned earlier, Curtis Wilson, 24 goals at the end of the minor rounds. Very deadly from the short corners. Can go all four corners and quickly.
That's handy.
It is. So he's current SASI member, under 21s and AHL in the past year.
Double battery.
Looks to be injecting to battery 1. We find Curtis and he slipped over, unfortunately. So Northeast with the reprieve there.
I think they would have appreciated that slip over.
They would. Maybe the groundskeepers have done it too wet today. Players are asking how high. And Shuby gets a green card for just a little bit too much talk to the umpire there.
Umpires just settling things down from early on.
Yeah, elimination finals do get fiery, so it's important that you do take control early, and I think that's a right decision by Jordan Ryan. Good entry, good control bait and stop. Got a 1-2 with the goalie.
Good clean-up by Forestville.
Good defensive work rate, and as I did mention earlier, they just get numbers back. They're happy to defend. And it's worked well this year with 12 wins.
Both teams have created some really nice circle entries, both with passing and some good skill as well, as shown by Aiden. So I think this match is going to be an absolute ripper if it keeps going like this.
And it's open, free-flowing, so some of the earlier games that we've seen throughout this final series have been congested, forcing players to hit long, but both teams happy to let them outlet, use the width and play that free-flowing style of hockey. And really good use of the back four by Northeast, using the full width of the field. Creates a lot of gaps through the midfield, as we see. It just allows that chaos ball through the middle. And again, just attacking with a full width. Happy to go down the baseline. Good connections between Simon Wells. We've got good patience there by both teams, actually, just protecting their feet and also trying to find the right option.
I think by playing wide a lot, it then opens up that nice space through the middle. So they've just got to make sure they don't use it too much, but it will create some really nice holes.
Just got to make sure you don't get too predictable going wide early.
That's exactly right.
So both teams employing the sweeper when they're defending, so both teams having that free player. And again, just seeing Northeast experience and patience, just happy to roll the ball back if nothing's on forward. But unfortunately, Nathan just mistraps that one, or Nathan Jennings. Both teams playing with the back four when they're outletting, so similar styles of hockey. Again, the full-away press by Northeast, just forcing Forestville and enticing them to play in the middle, but Forestville aren't falling for it.
It also takes those overheads out of the game, so it doesn't open as much space for them.
And the overhead has been used quite regularly by Northeast in this game, with a couple of big bombs being thrown by O'Shea.
He does love a good bomb.
But again, just an easy ball down the line. Good desperation front. And small game awareness by Forestville just to work the ball out. And again, just seeing that overhead. It's Herbert on the ball. So Herbert recently won Player of the Tournament at the Australian Country Championships. So another an SA player winning or being recognised for talents, although he did move from Melbourne this year. Again, Simon Wells, good skills shown. Good strength. Earns a free hit just outside. So good set play, good redirect.
What a touch.
So that's young Connor Gray's part of my 16s team I'm taking away at the end of the year. I think it's Connor Gray.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Good hairstyle. He's following the Simon Wells approach.
The man bun.
Man bun.
So yeah, good redirect, really good set play, and just showing the good youth and maturity experience shown throughout the team. Good depth.
Connor started playing this year and he's just stepped right in. You wouldn't even notice that he hasn't had as many games as the other guys. So it's fantastic.
So got two flickers at the top off a single battery. It's gone to Simon Wells. He's unleashed it, but unfortunately he's just gone straight at Sam Carr's chest. The long ball down the line, and Jennings just happy to knock that one away.
Unfortunately, at this level, that height,
It's a bit easy to save, straight at the chest.
Yeah, even if it is rocketing, the goalie just has to stand there.
It's definitely some good purchase. So we have good flickers from both sides. We also have Telfer and Machel, both effective from the short corner spot. And again, Forestville just knocking the ball around the back, trying to find the right option. And here we have that overlap scenario. Crowhurst on the ball, tries to find Herbert, just can't have the stick on that one as well.
I love Forestville's attacking nature. They had a lot of their players up, including their halfback, so just looking to really pump it forward and keep it up there. If you see sides dropping their defenders back, you know that they're a little bit more concerned, a bit more conservative, and then they don't have options to go wide.
Great connection going forward. Stuart Hutchins on the ball, trying to earn a free. But Northeast with that experience, that finals experience, work the ball out well and maintain possession up the field. So dangerous spot there, but just good composure shown. Happy to protect the feet, force the ball wide.
So about halfway through the first half, you think it's pretty even?
It's definitely 50-50. Good tackle by Tyson Schubert.
Some of the crowd don't think so.
No. Jordan Flavel's got a one-on-one situation in Wishart, but
Couldn't keep it in.
no. But of all the players you want to be in a one-on-one, it's probably not the player you want to be against.
Mr. Wishart has some very long arms.
Yep, former hotshot Thunderstick AHL champion, multiple BNF winner, and 27 years in the PL comp, including 12 years in the WA competition. So probably one of the most experienced heads in the competition, if not the most experienced head. So you definitely don't want to be caught one out.
Yeah, many discussions I've had with a few people said that he was probably the unluckiest defender not to play for Australia. He was just playing in a time where our defenders were amazing.
Playing through the early 2000s. And you've got the Wellses and big names, Knowles.
Yeah.
So definitely a tough time to be a defender. And just a sloppy turnover there by Forestville. No real pressure, just missed pass, missed connection. Probably just the nerves shown. First half of a final. But Aiden Stock, young player, not showing as much nerves.
No, he's played a few finals now, so...
Also last year.
Yeah.
Played the two finals.
Yeah.
Dan Mitchell just calling the advantage. Well mopped up by Telfer, finds Jennings. Got a couple of 2-on-1 situations. Gets the first. And again, Northeast just setting up, looking for those set plays. Great ball to Stock. Good 3D skills shown. But great defending there by Connor Hutchins. That long overhead. No one home. So I think you'd say Northeast are now starting just to gain that little bit of momentum, having the majority of the attacking options in the last few minutes, as well as just finding quick, easy outlets as well. So not being as pressured as you'd hope by Forestville with that full press.
Yeah, so Forestville seem like they're changing. Whoa!
Heads! So for those at home, that went well over the back of the grandstand. It's 6 runs any day of the week.
Just continuing the weekend for wayward overheads.
So basically 1 per game so far.
Yeah, Forestville have been changing the height of their press, which is quite interesting. I like it. It's keeping the defenders on their toes. It means that they have to be a little bit more variable in how they outlet.
I think they're playing into Northeast strength, which is they like to go wide and use those long balls down the line. So you'd probably want to... really good opportunity there by Alec Hutchins. Ball's just popped through. And a really good shot. Got a lot of purchase on it, but just pushed it wide.
So much purchase, they've lost the ball.
It's gone through the fence and is sitting on the hill. So we've got time stopped at the moment while they just get the new ball on. So as I was just saying, you try to contest the northeast midfield, because if you just continue to allow them down the line, they're going to keep winning the ball like they are, because that's where their numbers are going. So Northeast are a really methodical side that like to hold the ball. So you've got to restrict their time and space by making them play through the middle. Good overhead. Found mate short in the back, just can't control it. So Dylan Evans called that one from goalkeeper, so he may be used as a defensive player, but he's definitely calling the outlets at times.
I think it's a skill that goalies and deeper defenders can have, to actually call the play, let people know what's on, and it almost becomes a bit of a set play in some respects.
Well, he's got the best field, he can see everything in front of him.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, if you use it well, as we see, you get into really good attacking positions.
Interestingly, you don't see that as much with female goalies. I've noticed some do, some don't. But yeah.
So just a little bit of rain starting to spit through now. Hopefully it holds off. And again, good ball down the line. Good desperation there by Sam Freeman. So Wellsy's called that connection. Unfortunately, just didn't get there in time.
Just needs to run a little bit quicker.
If he got rid of the man bun, I think he would have had that. So going by the sheets in front of us, the Zulus do have a lot of youth they can bring off the bench to spark something. Choosing to hold them off, so it does appear that we have young Will Bishop, Jaden Rice and Fergus Roundtree on the bench. I'm not 100% sure how many of them are actually down there. They are on the sheet in front of us. So all three, again, playing in the 16s team at the end of the year. So the Northeast Zulus do have a good representation in young state teams. A lot of the fans questioning if he was 5, and from up here it looks...
Yeah, I thought it was all right.
Close to the 5. Scotty Machel's got a one-on-one. Superb defending by Connor Hutchins.
Scotty doing the team thing, trying to find the open player, but very good defending.
It's a tough trap, that one.
It is a tough trap, and not to let it hit your foot at the same time. Finding that wide ball again.
Using a little trap door. Calls to find a corner. Beats the player, but just loses it off the end of his stick. Just a missed overhead there. Very lucky for that to go through. And Northeast have just increased their pressure here, so they've stopped the fall away press and are now going to more of a 3/4. So they're quite happy to change their press as well. So both teams happy to tinker and change with both their outletting structures and their pressing structure.
I'd say Northeast has had probably a majority of the play, but the interesting thing is I think Forestville might have even had more shots.
Or the clear-cut shot, the Alec Hutchins shot, the deflection, short corners.
Yeah.
So
Tim Solvenderin with some lovely skill.
good push the ball into space, finds Scotty Machel one time. But good small game work here by Forestville to work it out. So didn't rush, don't have the finals experience, but they did work it out quite well. No panic. I'm just happy to find the short, sharp passes.
I think the more this game stays at 0-0, the more Forestville will feel comfortable and start playing the game that they know and they can do. So I think for Northeast, they'll want to slot one in soon.
And Forestville are happy to play from behind as well. So in the 2 encounters that we had, 2 of the 3, we were actually in the lead. We're up 3-0 at one point in the first 10 minutes and lost 5-7. So Forestville are a composed team. They don't mind coming back from a deficit. So I think they are quite a composed team, albeit with the lack of finals experience. So Simon Wells looking to have an influence on the game.
Who do you feel are the key playmakers so far for Forestville? Who's been their shining lights?
I think Connor Hutchins defensively, so he's been in a couple of the key defensive stops with the 1 on 2 outs. And going forward, I think his brother Alec has predominantly been, earning their shots or earning their short corners. So with the Hutchin brothers are playing quite well. You look for Moose or Curtis Wilson to have a bit more of an impact. It's been pretty quiet early on. I don't know if he's getting marked out by Will Telfer or O'Shea, but they are both good midfields. What are your thoughts on the North East Keys at the moment?
I think Simon has been doing a lot of hard running.
As we see, he gets the ball again.
And the other one I think has actually been Brodie O'Shea. He's just that cool, calm, composed around the attacking circle. But generally no one stood out too much. I think they're just playing quite a good team game.
Both teams just happy to play the team game. Don't mind who gets on the scoreboard as long as they're winning. It's exactly what you want from a team because it is a team sport at the end of the day.
That's exactly right. It's probably why they're in finals. Good, consistent lineup.
So North East going back to that half quarter, almost quarter press now. Just happy to sink back and clog up all the channels. Good pressure, not overcommitting, forcing him to throw it wide into the pocket. Good one-on-one battle there by Jennings and Herbert. So straight into the circle, unfortunately couldn't get that redirect. So tomorrow night we've got the Hockey SA Awards night, which is the Premier League Best and Fairest. So I have 2016 Premier League Women's Best and Fairest winner next to me in Holly Evans, and last year's men's winner was Daniel Cox. So we had this discussion earlier. So you're thinking no repeat for you this year, but we've got Aiden Stock with a tomahawk.
No, I don't think so. I think there have been a lot of girls performing exceptionally well. So I think it's, in my books, it's quite hard to win one. So I think winning two will be extremely difficult. But I can't wait to see what the count actually says, because obviously you only see one game a week.
You're lucky if you see two.
Yeah.
Now we see Brodie O'Shea just comfortable with the ball in the end of his stick, even though he had two players pressuring him. So the call by Dylan Evans is red time, which, as we all know, is you don't want to concede the last or the first 5 minutes of a game. So really important here by North East. They just want to limit their turnovers and maintain possessions to make sure they don't concede.
You saw that in the girls' game today. Seacliff scored in the last 40 seconds or so, and I think that really set them up because Adelaide were pressing well and pressing hard, and it almost just took the wind out of the sails a little bit. So although I would love to see some goals, I think both teams would be wanting to make sure they go into the break without anything on the scoreboard.
But we do have North East again in the pocket. Connecting really well, finding Aiden Stock on the spot unmarked. Good back foot shot and finds the back of the net. So really well done there by North East. Finding the ball in the pocket, midfielders streaming forward, and then just finding open players on the spot.
Oh, that was beautiful. That's exactly what you expect from a side like that. They've played for so long together, and then to see someone like Aiden Stock just cool, calm, doesn't rush it, puts it on his forestick and just finds a nice gap. I don't think Sam could do much with that at all.
No. So he had two open players in the end there at the circle, so not a whole lot he can do. So we have a long corner. So we have the North East Zulus leading Forestville Panthers 1-0 with 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Interesting to see Forestville straight back on the counter again. So
who's your hot tip for the women's best and fairest this year?
I have my bets on either Leah Wellstead from Port, who is picked in, I think, the Junior World Cup squad, I believe, or Junior Development Squad.
Development squad,
that's the one. Or Annie Buzzico. I think they're both really solid midfielders, break the game apart. I think they control the ball for their teams.
And Seacliff was big improvers this year.
They
going
were.
From 5th to 3rd, I think, or 6th to 3rd.
6th to 3rd, I think.
So similar to the Forestville men team. Big improvers in the off-season, in the 2017 season. Both have new head coaches as well, so might be a theme, just having a bit of a refresh sometimes.
You can only hear so much of one person's voice before you start drowning them out completely. So
good reverse pressure there by Jordan Flavel. Finds Curtis Wilson. But again, just O'Shea is just showing a lot of composure.
So Northeast will really just want to control the ball here. They don't want to give it away.
But they do have an attacking option.
Good play. So just getting it wide. Obviously losing the ball straight through the centre is very dangerous.
And again, Flavel with the good defensive pressure. So 34 seconds to go. Alec Hutchins has got a 2-on-6 at the moment. He's done well to eliminate 2. Just turned his back at the wrong time.
They'll want to hurry this ball up. Oh,
and that doesn't help. You've got to make sure.
That's upsetting.
So got 16 seconds still to go. You've got Curtis Wilson on the ball. Look for a quick play of the ball. Go on the travelled 5. But just lifted it into the circle. 16. And that'll take us to half-time. The Northeast Zulus lead Forestville 1-0 through a really good set play by, finished off by Aiden Stock up forward.
It's been a great game so far. I think putting a show on for the crowd that's here, braving the cold weather, and just hoping the rain doesn't come.
Hope it stays away. So really good open first half of hockey. It'll be exciting to see what happens in the second half. See you then. There you go, the bloody.
We've got a 10 for tomorrow.
So welcome back to the Premier League elimination final at the State Hockey Centre between the Northeast Zulus and the Forestville Panthers Hockey Club. Again, I'm joined by Holly Evans. We are hopefully in store for a really great second half. So Forestville going to the left of screen and Northeast attacking to the right of screen. So we saw Aiden Stock cap off a really good outletting piece late in the first half. So we should see hopefully more of that. And again, Northeast just happy to look wide and find that longer ball.
Yeah, I think Forestville have almost made a few chances out of nothing. It hasn't been a super coordinated set play, but they get in there and they get those quick shots away. So I don't think you can write Forestville off whatsoever. I think they'll probably score when you least expect it, which is
and it only
exciting.
takes a short corner as well with Curtis Wilson on the short corner battery, 24 goals. So we see the young goal scorer, Aiden Stock. Ends a long corner.
I think both teams would be pretty happy with the hockey that they're playing. I don't think that they would change too much. Although I'd probably like Forestville just to cut out some of that wide ball. So more slide their players across rather than give that open space.
Yeah, force Northeast to play through the middle because they're obviously quite comfortable going wide. So try to force them to something they may not be as comfortable with. But it seems that Forestville are very happy just to let them go wide. Then we see what happens when you force them through the middle. You get a turnover.
Hockey's pretty easy when you think about it like that.
Yeah. Some would say it's a simple game, but when you're out there, it's a different story. Good reverse pressure by Simon Wells. Unfortunately, just knocks it with his foot. So good 1-2 with Flavel and Wilson. Looks to earn a long corner. He's saying there was no advantage with the foot in that part of the ground. Great pass by Wilson. Finds it inside the circle. Mitty's saying that both players swing for the ball, so no one's obstructing anyone else or hacking.
I think that's one of those ride or die type of tackles. If you get ball, you're okay, but you hit any stick, and I'd say it'd almost be a corner and a card.
Yeah.
I think Nathan on that particular instance got all ball, so.
Yeah. And Nathan, being an umpire, would definitely know the risk. Northeast with all 11 players inside the defensive 25, restricting the space that Forestville have to lead into. So he's a very, very vocal umpire. We can hear him from here, so it's good to hear and import and hear what his thought process is behind some of his decisions.
I think it stops that player sort of complaining if they get told exactly what it is for. And it sounds quite definitive.
Yeah, he backs his decision.
His decision. He's got good reasoning for it, and you're never going to get it perfect every time. No. So as long as he gives his reasoning, I think it's fantastic.
So Aiden Stock again on the baseline. Good tackle there by Steve Young. Has Schubert forward. Schubert tries to pop it in space, but it rolls off the end of his stick. Well done by Brodie O'Shea, finds Simon Wells running through. Great tackle by Scotty Crowhurst there. So again, one of those ride or die tackles.
Yeah, so that call was Simon Wells stick shielding. I think it was Simon. So you can't actually cover the ball with your stick as you're running.
You can't obstruct the player from getting to the ball.
That's exactly right. And it's one of those ones that I think players can get away with a little bit, because it's quite hard to call, but it's fantastic that he picked that up, because obviously it may look like a bad tackle, but all he's doing is putting his stick in there.
So Stocky with a good couple of deflections there, just not allowing Forestville to find that long ball down the line. So that's probably a key difference with the two presses. Forestville are really happy to let Northeast go wide and long, but Northeast trying to force Forestville through the middle. Forestville, Steve Young just trying to entice one of the Northeast defenders to come at him. They sit back, let him run through. There's no danger in that situation. Crowhurst on the ball, finds Flavel, eliminates Jennings, tries to find Paul Lynch on the back line, but unfortunately can't find him. And Northeast just working the ball out. Small games, finding passes, and great skills there for Brodie O'Shea. Doesn't get the connection with the hit, but still finds Aiden Stock. We have some good defensive work rate by both teams. And Forest will have the ball going forward.
I think one of the keys to the Northeast game is they do play those small games. They tend to find their players a lot, especially if they make the track inside the defensive circle, is they actually tend to work it out really well. So they don't turn the ball over too often. So the other team really has to work hard. They don't get easy ball.
Yeah, they don't panic, just knock it over the sideline. They're very happy to try to work it out and try to maintain possession, which, you know, the way they do outlet, they do find numbers going forward when they get the ball out of those dangerous situations. So good quick connection. Attempted redirect, but unfortunately he's just kicked the ball. Northeast looking for that long bomb, straight through the guts. Got Ben Sutherland running down, but Scott Crowhurst easily picks that one up. He's got a good 2-on-1 with Paul Lynch, but just can't make the pass. Good pressure by Scotty Machel, just forcing that raised ball. Makes it a lot harder to trap. Ball just popped off the stick and into the body of the Forestville player, so they'll get the possession of the ball. Forestville happy to transfer the ball around. One touch down the line, gets intercepted, falls for Curtis Wilson, finds Sean Herbert.
It's interesting looking at the Northeast press. They're very much playing man-to-man through that midfield. So the Forestville midfielders are having to work really hard to try and get some open space. And then Northeast just have that free sweeper sort of cleaning up the muck.
So a really great, strong carry by Jordan Flavel into penalty corner.
He's very dynamic, Jordan is. He's set up a lot for them. He's been working really hard tonight.
He's got a lot of deceptive leg speed, so you don't think he's got you, but then he just seems to get further and further away.
Puts the burners on. Be the first short corner of the second half.
So
Double battery.
Wouldn't be many surprises to who you'd want taking this, but they might go down the Connor Hutchins variation because he's still a capable flicker. So they might double bluff. Going to battery 1. Curtis with time and space. Picks up his own save. Good double save there by Dylan Adams. But Curtis Wilson continues to work, hustled and hustled.
Yeah. Crowd goes wild.
Yeah, so obviously have a big Forestville contingency. But credit to Dill Evans there, making the first, coming out making the second save. But then, again, great work, Curtis Wilson, just to keep hustling and playing the scraps out. So didn't just wait and try to earn another short corner, backed himself in and has tied the game up 1 goal apiece.
It's a smart tomahawk too. He didn't try and go fancy and go high. He just sort of that nice little off the ground shot means it's very hard to trap for the player standing in the goal line.
And Ian Wishart nearly did get a stick on it as well, which would have changed the game again if he'd managed to get that touch.
But it's made the game nice and interesting now. I think 1-1 is probably where it should sit at the moment. Both teams quite even. Just goes to show their short corners are fairly useful.
So a really good taking of the space there by Will Telfer. Just trying to get into the inboard, try to open up the space and change the angle of the defenders, but well done by Forestville to force him back out and eventually into a turnover. So since that goal, Curtis has probably got the most touches for the game.
Yeah.
He's obviously got into it now that he's piped up after the goal. So smart running by Sam Freeman to cut Ben Sutherland's line there, not giving him easy access to the ball.
Interesting, the Forestville boys seem like they're moving a little bit more in the midfield now, so that goal might have given that just that little bit of a pump up.
Great redirect pass. And we've got the halfback, Nathan Jennings, streaming forward. But good composure by the Forestville defenders in a 4-on-4 even number situation. Could have been dangerous had that pass come off from Nathan.
I reckon he would have talked about that for weeks had that come off.
So Nathan looks like he has popped up into the middle though. Looks like he's almost playing striker.
I think he'll be happy there.
He's got space in the middle if Brodie can find him, and he does. But unfortunately, he's just put it onto his own foot.
Great ball though by Brodie.
Just a snap of the wrist to get that square ball across, and Forest will have numbers forward. Ben Sutherland screaming to get off.
It's when you know your strikers are working really hard. He's probably also lacking a little bit of match fitness because he's missed a fair few games, but he definitely works hard.
There's no doubt about that.
All red in the 25.
Tyson Schubert on the ball, takes it quickly, trying to catch some Northeast defenders napping, and he's found a foot. And then he's allowed that to play on, and Alec Hutchins puts Forestville up 2-1. Dan Mitchell's just referring his decision with Jordan Ryan. He's called the corner, no advantage.
May have hit a body before the ball went in the goal, a Forestville body, so you can't actually play off your own body even if it was...
The foot and the leg's fine, but the body, you have to call it straight away?
No, so I think it actually may have hit the Forestville body, and if it hits your body, you can't play it on, unfortunately, even if it was leg, foot, hand, head.
I've seen a couple of those last game in the Premier League Women.
We did.
Annie Buzzico and Aaron Cameron. So probably looking for the same again. Battery 1, Curtis Wilson. He's gone top left, and we can see why he's the highest goal scorer of the competition. Cool, calm and collected up front. And it's probably one of the keys Northeast spoke about in the first half was limiting that opportunity, and unfortunately they've given away too early in the second half.
So there'll be a little bit of fire in this game now. The game's certainly on. It's elimination final, so if If you don't win, you're going home, and then you're going to wait for pre-season to do it all again.
So we spoke about North East experience. As we can see, they're not fretting at the moment. They are down 2-1. They've come back from worse. Last year's final, they came from 2-0 down against Port to win in extra time.
The one thing they're very good at is scoring those late goals, so they're always on, but as you said, they don't rush things, they don't try and belt things into the circle. So many a game I've seen them down 2-1, 3-2, they end up drawing or winning those games, scoring in the last 2 minutes.
I can vouch for that twice this year, late goals. So they've always got that belief, and I think that's really important in finals, is you've got to have belief that you can win it regardless of what the score says.
And I think it's that belief without changing the way you play. As soon as you change the way you play, you go against what you're good at.
Yeah, you've got to trust the preparation. They have changed their press a little bit, throwing Simon Wells high.
Great ball.
And again, really good ball, finding the connections with that player down the line. So good work between the halfbacks and strikers from both sides, finding those crisp balls down the line in front. The crowd just having a bit of fun with the umpiring at the moment.
All fun and games.
Tackle by Brodie O'Shea. Curtis finds Steve Young, puts the ball over the spot. Tyson Schubert just doesn't get a cleaner touch as he'd like. Crowd very happy with that tackle by the oldest Hutchins and Stewart. We have Wish just finding a nice free halfback, putting it down the line, but well picked up by Forestville. So Forestville complaining about the free, but they do have the advantage, so you can't have your cake and eat it too.
No.
And well done by Sean Herbert there to eliminate two, and he's put in the wrong goal, unfortunately, in that far goal.
Did have a player on the post, just missed it. Feel like Forestville are definitely up and about now. They're playing some really nice hockey.
But it just takes one simple pass like that, and unfortunately for Will Telfer, he couldn't find Aiden Stock, but two passes and they were in the attacking 25. So again, we just see that belief by North East, just happy and always raring, just always dangerous, really.
Always dangerous, yeah. They can go coast to coast without the opposition touching it.
And that's just the experience. So 10 years for some of the players for North East outfit. Scotty Matthews playing a bit more of a defensive role than we usually see him doing. More picked up by Sam Freeman. Doesn't have a whole lot of numbers forward, but does find Jason Brocklehurst with a great receive. But you don't beat Will Telfer often in those one-on-one battles. Talking about deceptive speed, he is quite quick.
He's very quick. He was doing athletics for a while, so definitely wouldn't try and beat him on a foot race.
So Will Telfer polls quite well in the best and fairest, which we were speaking about earlier. So you always see him to poll well, especially when North East do win enough games to sneak into the four. So that means he will poll quite well again this year.
He's just a very solid distributor. Doesn't do anything flashy, but has those skills as well when he needs them. So he can eliminate three players.
And gets a lot of the ball because they're happy, they trust him, and they find him quite early into games. So he's grown as this game's gone on, and we'll look to see him have an impact now that they're down and chasing the lead. So the October school holiday clinics on the second week of the October holidays. That's the 11th and 12th for field players and October the 13th for goalkeepers. So just make sure you get in early. Early bird closes Friday the 22nd of September. It's open to boys and girls aged 6 to 18. And we do have a high quality level of coaching with SA Hotshots and Suns players, state coaches, SAS athletes and coaches. So you will be exposed to some higher end skills and tactical awareness. So we do recommend jumping on those holiday clinics as soon as possible. Simon Wells here is able to attack space. He'll look to carry to the baseline. Great feed. Finds Connor Gray. Unfortunately, knocks over the back line.
Forest seem to have taken Northeast wide space away. They haven't been able to just throw those long balls down the wide corridors as much.
Yeah.
I think that's been really effective for them.
And if they have gone wide, the halfbacks have been stepping up in front and winning the ball. So I think that's probably a really smart move by Jeff Mills there. Great overhead. And again, great trap by Scott Machel. Really well worked by Northeast, showing their connections experience, and earned a delayed free hit. Umpires just using their headsets and talking and make sure they get the right decision. Good long ball in, deflected over the baseline for a long corner.
So the umpires mic'd up together means that they can actually just quickly double check, make sure they saw what they saw, and they're exceptionally useful, especially when players throw the whole team behind the ball. It's really hard for one of the umpires to see, so just having that extra pair of eyes and having that quick contact is awesome.
Because we have 19 players in 25 yards of depth really, so it does make it quite hard to officiate at times. And here we have Jordan Flavel again. He's one out. He's got numbers streaming forward now, but in Northeast's favour. So good pressure just to force him back and keep him out wide where he's not as dangerous. And Dan Mitchell's just said that you're not getting to that one. So well picked up by Crowhurst, finding Wilson. And great trap by Brodie O'Shea. He's got numbers behind, but finds Scott Machels, one out with Connor Hutchins, slips through. Great keeping by Sam Carr. Very lucky to get out of that one with Brodie O'Shea streaming forward. Does make the tackle, but Scott Crowhurst just showing some good composure. Worked by Ben Sutherland just to spit the ball back to Will Telfer. We see his great distribution skills. I struggled with that one. I lost my train of thought there. Distribution skills is what I was meant to say. For those following at home.
I think Northeast should be starting to look for some short corners, just get a little bit of that ascendancy. Forestville have been defending really well.
And have defended again. I'm just happy to put the ball out. So Ian Wishart on the ball, happy to go back and around. Good press by Forestville. Just missed the trap. Whoever want that one back, as I had a 2-on-1 with Tom Hughes on the ground. It's quite hard to defend when you're on the ground.
It is.
I definitely think Forestville's press has stepped up a notch, really forcing Northeast to play through numbers.
In that case, if that attacker is pushing up on you, you have to receive on the move. You can't receive standing still. You're just a sitting duck, essentially. And someone like Jason Brocklehurst, who's quick, you get shut down really easily.
Just had a couple of areas on that one. And again, Will Telfer on the ball. Finds young Wells, but couldn't stick the trap. So Forestville with numbers behind. Northeast have their back four set, so if they do transfer quickly, they can force Forestville to stretch. We've got Rhino showing the ball. Great long ball in. Finds Stocky. Oh.
So close.
And again, unmarked in the circle, so Forestville defenders got to be very careful of Stocky. He's already got one today.
Aiden's very quick on that little counter lead, so I think he almost just takes himself away.
He's always against the grey, so he's got a high IQ for a young player, and he understands that players go to the ball, that someone has to go away from it. So really well done by young Aiden Stock. And there we see it again, against the grain, eliminates into the circle.
Trying to get a foot, just great defending.
Again, Forestville they just don't rush defensively. They keep their sticks down and force you to go back and around, otherwise it's going to get a deflection. So we see the experience of Northeast with those Shade, Wishart and Telfer all linking up. And good use of the body by Simon Wells just to bump Alec Hutchins off. We have Nathan Jennings, finds White. And Scott Machel just airs, top edges that one over the top.
And one of the players tried to alley-oop it. Reverse alley-oop.
Aiden Stock jumping up for that one.
Now that would have been a goal.
That would have been impressive. So 11 minutes to go. Forestville lead 2-1 with a double from Curtis Wilson for Forestville and Aiden Stock with the lone goal for Northeast.
So if you're Northeast, do you start thinking about changing things up, or do you just trust your gameplay?
I think you'd keep a similar game plan, but you just look more inboard now that Forestville have started stepping out. So as we mentioned earlier, you can't get predictable with going wide the entire time. So it means there has to be corridors open somewhere. So I think they look a little bit more direct and try to use their midfield. So use the likes of Telfer, the O'Sheas. I think that's where the space is for them at the moment. And for Forestville, you just got to make sure you don't concede. You've got to limit your turnovers and make sure you're set defensively. And again, Jordan Flavel on the ball, finding Freeman. They look in no rush to force this one into the circle. Wilson out wide to Young, pops into the circle to Herbert. Burns a long corner. So Curtis Wilson on the ball, just trying to find Paul Lynch. And Curtis Wilson takes it to required 5 and puts it on the foot of Jennings. So Curtis must want his third goal for this afternoon.
He's really picked up this half. I think the first half he was there and he was useful, but I don't think he made an impact, whereas the second half he's really stepped up, and it's probably been the difference, I think.
And when you flick as well as he does, you do become a bit of an impact player on these power plays, really, because it's a 6-on-4 and 8-on-4 depending on how many numbers you throw up. So we do set up with a double battery, but we do expect it to go to Curtis Wilson. He's got 2 for the afternoon. They've gone to battery 1, gone the zigzag approach. And Carson Schubert just sneaks it over Dylan Evans. So well worked short corner there by Forestville. Made the runners run to Curtis and then went around them.
Smart hockey, really smart hockey. Northeast know he's a big deal, so they really would almost run to protect him.
They did run almost 2 first runners out to Curtis, trying to force him down the goalkeeper's side, and he was quite happy to go around. So really well done to their coaching staff and Jeff Mills. But we still don't see Northeast panicking. They don't look in any strife to rush.
8 minutes is a long time.
So we've had the call a bit rough for standing in front of the ball and not allowing the player to go to it. So again, still looking really composed. We'd like to see a bit more reverse pressure from the strikers from Northeast now, but
I think they're almost trying to plant themselves up that little bit higher just to help score. But I don't think they're going to create as much pressure if they're holding up there, and then, it's much easier for Forestville to stay down their attacking end, which is not where North East need the ball to be.
Correct.
Forestville fans getting nice and excited now.
And happily giving advice as well.
Love it. It's quite a good atmosphere out here in a night game.
And they've got the ball on the open side. And again, just happy to go down the line. Good deflection by Connor Hutchins. Finds Brocklehurst. And here's where you see reverse pressure needs to be applied. So not allowing Crowhurst just to sit in the middle of the field, because you need to win the ball with 6.5 minutes to go.
I wouldn't mind one North East striker playing high, but I think you definitely need that other one chasing.
So they have gone with a high power forward line. Now they're sending Simon Wells up front for the last 6 minutes with Scott Machel. I think Aiden Stock's their third striker, so they do have firepower and speed up front now. And it takes one goal to change the game as well.
I love watching Aiden and Simon play together. They've played together for a long time now, and I think they just know who each other are. So,
and they've taken North East under 18s to the top of the ladder as well. So they played their final round this week, so the juniors is a week after.
It's the first time that's happened, so that should be nice. Bit different.
So good deflection down the line. Sam Freeman playing in front though and reaping the rewards of it. Much better pressure by the North East strikers, and it pays off. Got Simon Wells in a really dangerous position. Great tomahawk, good save.
Fantastic save. Got out to him. Simo's very, very dangerous on the reverse stick.
Closed down his space. Simo did the right thing putting it low as well. So just well worked by both the attacker and the goalkeeper there. That's the pressure that if North East apply, they'll get more of those opportunities. So hopefully they've realised now that you've got to continue to reverse pressure.
You've got to be in it to win it.
The crowd goes wild on pitch too. So I think we might have had a goal over there.
North East playing over there as well, so it's a fair few fans standing on the hill and rotating between both matches.
Short corner given for not being 5. So we're not seeing the card given because I think they're saying the short corner is enough of a penalty. So Connor Hutchins not agreeing with that decision.
Dan just nicely letting the field players know what's going on, which is good.
So well done by both Jordan Rind and Dan Mitchell, just letting people know why they made the decision, what the infringement is. So it's really good to see, and now they've said it, no one's arguing, so just stamping it out early. So a goal here would change the game completely, with North East probably having the momentum. Good injection, Scott Machel, great flick. Just gone in between the postie and the goalkeeper. Forestville in no hurry to get that ball back. But
this is what North East are good at.
As you said, they're dangerous, and they're always dangerous in the last minute. So great flick by Scott Machel again. And the pressure by the Zulus has just increased tenfold because of that goal. Well done, Simon Wells. Unfortunately giving away. So Simon Wells given the green card for not being 5. I think he knocked the ball out in the initial challenge. And the crowd letting Simon know to get a haircut. I think he's heard that one before.
I think he has. I think he likes his hair, so I think he might leave it. But you can see that 5-year-old players just getting really excited and pushing limits, and the umpires just being very consistent about what they're doing.
So they have been consistent with the 5, which is why there was no argument by Simon. He played his case, and then copped the fine. I copped the infringement, so
Well, I think he will be fined by his teammates as well for that.
he definitely will be.
It's not useful in this time though.
No.
To
3 minutes to go.
yeah.
But again, still Northeast. They're not phased. Got players literally on their hands and knees to try to win the ball.
Yep. No maliciousness in that. I think they were just playing a game of Twister between themselves.
So Forestville looking to run the clock down.
Probably quite early to be doing that, I'd say.
And really well done by Brodie O'Shea and Will Telfer to win that back. So I think 2 minutes is probably a little bit long to hold the ball. And
Yeah.
unless you've got the skills of someone like Cameron White, you probably wouldn't hold it for too long in that situation.
I'd want to be scoring another goal, to be honest.
Put the game out of doubt. And Will Telfer unfortunately just loses control there.
I think
And
Forestville have done an exceptional job to be where they are. So if they can hold Northeast out here,
But turnovers like that don't help. And again, great pressure by Scott Matchell, puts it on the foot. And we've got time called for just a little bit after the whistle there, especially knowing that it's hit his foot. So
and this time in the game, I think you just need to be super cautious. So now 10 all, 10 players on each side.
So Simon Wells will be on in a few moments. With a minute to go, do you look at taking your goalkeeper off and getting that extra player on? Because you really got to you got to roll the dice here.
I think because Northeast are exceptional in those sort of high sort of pressure moments right at the end, I wouldn't throw your keeper
So
off.
we've got 11 on 10. Jordan Flavel's done really well to get as far as he did. And we've got Dan Mitchell just saying, play on. So, again, no rush, 23 seconds to go. We'll probably look to bomb it out here, Connor Hutchins, and that's what we get. Long ball.
Yeah, it's a very smart decision. Means that they have to go collect the ball, get it, find it. But then I think you'll also look to see Ryan throw the ball over as well.
Yeah. The crowd are out with their timing, so they haven't counted that one down well. But we've got Forestville getting up 3 goals to 2 against Northeast in a hotly contested game. So Forestville will play the Adelaide Peas next week in a prelim final. So unfortunately Northeast, that's the end of their season, but I think they did a really good job considering that they came down to the final game of the year to make it into the final. So well done on a hotly contested game with Curtis Wilson with 2 of the 3 goals for Forestville, Tyson Schubert with the 3rd, and Aidan Stock and Scott Matchell with singles for Northeast.
I think if Forestville play like they did, I think they can take it right up to Adelaide. So I can't wait for next week.
Yeah, so thank you, Holly Evans, for joining me, and I'll see you all next week.